Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bench. I am Rocco Granado from InTheCrossWeTrust.com, and with me, as usual, from up in chilly Toronto, Canada. Yeah, chilly in the middle of April, coming up in the middle of April. From LaxPhilly.com is none other than Gary Grube. Gary, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, Rocco. It is windy, it's cold, but you know what? In 24 hours, a lot windier and a lot colder.
Yeah, as you are going to be on your way to Saskatoon to go back to one of the loudest houses, if not the loudest, in the NLL right now to watch the Saskatchewan Rush and the Colorado Mammoth play for the third and final time this season in a game that if the Rush win, they will clinch the NLL West. And obviously Colorado will most likely be in second because Calgary has some work to do if they even want to get a sniff of second place. And then the only other thing they have left is to clinch home field throughout the playoffs, even in the championship game, should they get that far. But, Gary, we talked about this before. This game just doesn't mean, for Colorado's sake, to get within a half game of first, but it can also be a motivational game, okay? They've lost to Saskatchewan twice so far this year. Close in score, but this last game, the last time they're going to play each other, Colorado's got 3 games left. This is one of those 3. This is a game that I feel they really need to come out and make a statement.
Yeah, I think so too. If Colorado comes out flat, then come playoff time, what kind of psyche are they going to have when they were 0-3 and really didn't get a sniff at it? On the other hand, if they come out and beat them, they walk into them with all the momentum, even though they lost 2 out of 3.
Right.
Because at this point of the season, they'll be clicking on all cylinders. Right.
And the thing is, what Colorado also has to do, though, which they've had trouble in the past doing, is getting over that first round hump. They got over it, last year, but it took how many years for them to get over it?
Well, yeah, the last time they gotten over it, they won the championship. Wasn't that 2008 or so?
Right. And so now, this is something that, when the playoff time rolls around, that's where everybody starts to look at. Oh, can they get out of the first round before you even start talking about those two teams, facing off against each other? But other like I said, Saskatchewan wins this weekend, they'll clinch first place, and most likely Colorado will be in second, provided they don't do a total downfall, and Calgary wins every single game that's left on their schedule. But let's talk about first of all, before we even get to the East, I want to know how you feel. What do you think about the San Diego Seal hiring of their first head coach and general manager, former Toronto Rock player, Patrick Merrill?
You know what? I don't feel bad about it. I think it's great for Patrick. Patrick's a great guy. He's a good coach. Coaches in the MSL. Very successful. I think he's going to be an added plus to this team.
Now, who do you see? I mean, I started thinking, Josh Sanderson, but he has, correct me if I'm wrong, he has a position right now with the Toronto Rock, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's the assistant general manager.
That's what I thought.
Rock. He's not going anywhere.
No, that's what I thought.
Behind Dalwick doing the money deals.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because he was
also in with the Oakville Rock in the summer as well, so I don't think he's going anywhere. His family's based here,
right,
in Orangeville. He's not going across the other side of the country.
No, but that his name was the first name I thought of.
I'm thinking one of the people that might be going would probably be Bill Greer, who accompanies Merrill in the summer with the MSL.
Yeah.
And they seem to be a 1-2 tandem. So that's a possibility right there as one of the coaches defensively, anyways.
And what would you think of, because it's might not really even be that far, John Graham Jr. maybe being the offensive coach?
It's possible. I'm not sure if he's going to go that way or not. It's definitely possible.
Right.
Anything. But I don't know. It never really popped into my head as that's the one.
Yeah, I'm trying. I mean, first there was word going out that he wasn't going to, that Steve Govett wasn't going to make any decision until the end of the year because he wanted to interview, all the coaches that were, possibly, out there. Now all of a sudden, 4 weeks before the end of the regular season, he lays out a bombshell of Patrick Merrill being the first, GM and head coach. And I have to say, when they put it out on Twitter, I liked how he did it, flipping the things down and everything. But when they showed Patrick Merrill holding the jersey, I really like how those jerseys look.
Definitely. Nice looking shirt.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to, I think the sales for that are really going to go up, big time. As they're doing with a lot of the jerseys throughout the league. But, I'm kind of curious to see who he brings on his staff as far as, his offensive coordinator, defense, try to see where he's going to go. And, I mean, when you do the expansion draft, it's kind of almost, you know what's going to happen because a lot of players are going to stay west, who's going to stay east. So it's probably just be a surprise as of, maybe who they pick first or who they pick second. That's probably going to be the only surprise. But now, let's get to the East. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, that, you can go from first to last in a matter of a game. Well, it seems like New England is falling off the face of the earth right now. They were in first place. Now, not only are they in last place, but they're a game and a half out of first and a full game out of the playoffs with a 6-8 record right now. And they are just not clicking at all.
Yeah, but when we get into this later, I have another theory about this weekend. And I'm not sure. I might be going on a limb when I say it. New England has looked as bad as a team can look the last couple of weeks. It's absolutely proven how not to go down a stretch. We talked about it last week. If there's a blueprint how not to do a double weekend, they proved it last weekend. And this past one wasn't any better.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all.
But they were closer. They were 1 quarter away from actually putting together almost a complete game.
Almost, yeah. But it just...
The team looks in disarray. It doesn't look like it has any direction other than every which way but loose. And if you take a look at their goals for to their goals against, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
149 goals for, or 202 goals against.
Yeah.
I don't blame Aaron Bold for it. I blame that they have absolutely no defense in front of them. And it's tough to steal a game when you're facing 60 shots a night.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned those stats, 149 for, 202 goals against. The closest team to that is the Vancouver Stealth, who sit at 2-13. They scored 155 goals and let up 220. So, I mean, what does that tell you? Your offense is worse than a team that is 2-13. I mean, granted...
That's pretty ridiculous, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, granted, Vancouver has played one more game than New England, but 6 goals, okay, if you're averaging just over 10, okay, so you'll be maybe 4 goals better than them? Seriously? Mm-hmm. I mean, it just doesn't, completely make sense here. And, we said this in the beginning of the year. When Aaron Bold comes to New England, he's not going to have that same goals against average like he did when he was with Saskatchewan and Edmonton.
Right. Well, also he has more travel on his plate.
Right.
Which can't keep him as sharp as he was. His team doesn't have near the equipment that the championship Saskatchewan or Edmonton Rush had. So, you look at it from any angle and you go, well, there's no possible way that they're going to... Evan Kirk, he looks like a goalie of the year again, doesn't he?
Right, exactly, yeah, because he has... I mean, granted, he's played great between the pipes, but he also has a stellar defense in front of him as well.
Sure. It's one thing if he can control the rebound, but if he can't, he's got got 5 guys there who will.
Who will, right. I mean, and like I said, I'm not saying that, Kirk's not playing great, it's all on the defense. But, no, he is. I mean, all defenses get beaten from time to time. And, you still got to make the save. I don't know too many players who are going to stand in front of a 100-mile-an-hour shot, hoping that it hits padding on you. It's and goalies will tell you, let me see the shot. So he's got to face the shot. If 50 to 60 plus shots are getting through to him, he's got to stop them. So he's playing unreal, and it wouldn't surprise me with the expansion draft coming up and everything, if New England does leave Bold unprotected, it wouldn't surprise me one bit San Diego picks him up.
Well, yeah, I don't think that happens, but
I don't know.
I know that they're in the major rebuild, but I don't see them doing that.
They may, because they've said when they drafted Doug Jamieson that he is their future.
What is the future now?
Well, you know what? With the way they're playing right now,
I just think they have other things they need to concern themselves with than having to, hope on a goalie.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's already in his second year right now.
Yeah, and he's not looking even as sharp as he did last year.
Right, but I mean, you need to give him some more time, and if they lose another game or two, you just may see him play the string out to get some time. I mean, if they're going to start rebuilding, they might as well. They always sign Bold to a 1-year deal. So like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if they leave him unprotected, because it's going to be like another Corey Small deal where he wants to go back west.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't surprise me, or if they do a sign and trade, who knows? But let's look at last week's games. First one, after you had a very long day.
A 26-hour day, yeah.
Yeah, Colorado at Toronto.
Had a longer day than I did.
Yeah, this was, somebody put out, and I didn't really check on it, but I believe them. The first time in NLL history that not one offensive player scored a goal. All the goals were scored by transition and defense.
Well, let's even go one step further for how pathetic this was offensively. Is that the goalie, Nick Rose, had as many points as any of the forwards getting points. Because the only 2 forwards who got points were Reed Reinhold and Kerry McCardle, and they happened to get an assist on a Challen Rogers goal when he stayed out in an offensive shift.
Right.
Which was the only non-transitional goal of the night, though scored by a defensive player.
Right. Yeah, Latrell Harris had 2. Hofstrasser got 1. Cree got 1.
A couple.
Yeah, Brody Merrill got 1.
Brad Cree.
Right. But your combination
in the process.
Yeah. But your 3-headed monster of Rob Hellier, Hickey, Adam Jones, all with goose eggs.
Yep.
Not even an assist.
Nope.
For them. I mean,
barely any interest in the game, really.
Yeah, I mean, were they there? Did they come off the bench, or was this Colorado defense just that strong on them?
The defense was strong. Toronto's big problem, and I've said this again and again and again, and so much so that the offensive coach doesn't even acknowledge me anymore, is the ability to adjust. They have none. So when something isn't working, they have no ability to adjust. This goes back to the Lovell era, where it was never adjust no matter what, and that got them their only non-playoff appearance in the last number of years.
Right.
And the only one left over from that is Blaine Manning. Now, of course, Blaine isn't out there taking shifts, but it doesn't seem as though they don't have a quarterback on the floor. Ever since Doyle retired, they don't have that field general out there.
No.
Now, Hellier does as much as he can, but Hellier's 5'8", and against some of these defenses that are 6'6", it's like running into a tree. I can't tell you how many times, and it's frustrating, I can't tell you how many times I watch, guys go inside to pass it back outside so that they can take a shot that goes off a stick or a helmet. It drives me insane.
Yeah,
Or taking shots from damn near the corner. Adam Jones, what's he known for? A booming shot. Well, if they're blocking the lanes, that doesn't seem to do much, does it?
No.
Dickey, every now and again he'll go inside, but he hasn't been doing that much this year. He seems to be taking the Stephon LeBlanc role, which is kind of being the third man out, fifth man out. Not really being part of that offensive scheme. Then you have Kieran McArdle, who the last couple of games he's had hat tricks, and this game he was basically nowhere to be found. You had Phil Caputo. Well, he didn't do very much either.
No.
But all these guys were to the outside. Colorado had a really good zone defense. They really had a good strong box, and it looked like everything was set the way they wanted to set it.
Yeah.
And literally, they didn't give Toronto any air. Now, of course, Dylan Ward played great. But why did transition work and offensive didn't? Well, it comes down to this. When it came down transitionally, Ward didn't know where really to go, so he wasn't set. So they were able to score on him. By the time that the Rock do all this passing nonsense, and they used to have very crisp passing, which they don't anymore, because usually they overpass, and half the time they lose possession because they were overpassed. But during all that, you've got Ward, who is now in position and set. You're not beating him. And you're certainly not beating him from 40 or 50 yards away.
Oh, no, hell no.
You might as well fire it over there from King of Prussia.
You got a better chance doing that than you do with,
Chance of somebody firing it from center floor.
Yeah.
Or from the restraining line with 4 seconds left on the shot clock because you passed it the entire way.
And the thing is with Dylan Ward, as the game goes on, he gets stronger.
Sure. And so does the defense, and they're not letting anybody get inside.
No.
And you haven't done anything in your offensive schemes to make the defense change so that they have to readjust. So they don't have to worry about halftime adjustments. There's no adjustments needed.
No. No, when you go 9 for 22 on the face-offs, your offense doesn't score, your big three doesn't register a point, and, Latrell Harris and Kalen Rogers scores 4 of your 7 goals, there seems to be a problem.
Yeah, and I listen to it again and again. Well, Schreiber's it's one man, right?
Yeah, and the old saying.
Now with 147 goals this year.
Right, and the old saying, there is no I in team.
Well, there is, but I don't want to get into it here.
Right.
But that being said, he comes back, and the only thing that does shift up is now if they're double teaming him, then somebody's left open. And because he will go inside, that changes up the whole scheme. So it makes the defenses a little bit more uneasy and more chances at shooting lanes and more chances at passing lanes.
Right.
So yeah, it does hold a difference, and it holds a difference in how teams are going to look and try and guard it. But you're talking about he's been out for 6 or 7 weeks,
and he's supposedly supposed to come back this weekend.
That's the scuttlebutt. Now, is he 100%? Certainly seemed that way when I was talking with him before the game last weekend.
Right.
But everybody has ring rust.
Oh yeah.
Are you expecting him to come back and be the savior? Well, with the no moves or next to no moves, hopefully Dan Taylor gets a little bit more comfortable with the offense and can put a little bit more to it because he was working out there. But as a whole unit, I give it a giant F.
Oh yeah, it was a big. We'll leave it at that.
Glorious fail.
Yeah.
In all aspects, and it was to epic proportions. And being it on Twitter, it was now the national or international embarrassment. Now, how does the team come out of this? One of two things. They either tuck their heads in the sand, and they in New England go merrily into the sunset, or they come out and grind and find a way to win. And I'm hoping that the intestinal fortitude of this team, and I know these guys, and they have it, good pieces.
Right. It's got to show up on a daily basis.
Something to go on.
Yeah. Because right now they're 7-7. They're tied with the Georgia Swarm for that final playoff spot. But as we know, the standings are listed via tiebreaker, and Georgia has a tiebreaker over Toronto.
Yep.
So and I don't think they play each other again this year.
They play on Sunday.
Oh, okay. I'm not looking up at the schedule. That'll
4-5 they play.
Yep, 4 or 5 in Georgia. Yeah.
And if they bring their family, there'll be 147 people there to watch the game.
Yep. Yeah, it's a weird schedule this weekend. It really is.
You realize that some of the people from the last games are still bringing home bobbleheads? They couldn't carry it all in their car, right?
All right, now. Well, we could talk about the giveaways that they're having, because New England's giving one away that, in all honesty, if I was a New England fan, I would be embarrassed over it. But we'll do that when we go to preview that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Colorado was just, all over. From what I saw, their defense was tight all over Toronto. I just want to know if you saw the same thing that I saw. I mean, everybody saw that the offense wasn't there, but was the defense that strong on them? And it was, but it's still no reason not to put a goal in with your offense.
No.
Not at all.
It's a 50-50 split of the defense being good and the offense being terrible.
Terrible, right.
Yeah. Now, that being said, the game still was 11-7. It was tied 7-7 or 6-6 at the end of 3. So I'm wondering this. I'm hearing how great Colorado is and blah, 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 blah. Shouldn't they have taken Toronto to the cleaners if their offense can't get a goal?
Yeah, they should have.
And, they wowed them with Ryan Benesh's 2 goals.
Yeah,
Roy's 2 goals.
Yeah, Benesh, Roy, and Keo with 2 goals, yeah.
Right. And there's Zach Greer with 1. He just plain looks like he's trying too hard.
Yeah, Wardle had 1, Noble with 1.
Eli McLaughlin with 2 goals also.
Yeah.
So, the normal guys scored, but not lots.
Right.
I would have expected more.
Yeah, which tells me the Toronto defense was playing tough as well, and Nick Rose was standing on his head again. But, of course, probably some of the Toronto fans...
The thing I hear is it's Miller time, right?
Right, exactly. I was just going to say that. I heard chants.
Ridiculous?
Yeah, I heard chants from 400 plus miles away, Miller time chants, and I'm
listening to these fools go.
Yeah, I'm sitting here at home saying to myself, I would love to see Brandon in the game, but you can't go blaming Rosie for this.
You're talking about a guy who made 40 out of 50 saves.
Right, and the offense never showed up on the floor.
Right.
So
exactly what was Miller going to do different?
Right. Did they want Brandon to take the pads off and grab a short stick?
You may have something there.
Why not?
Nothing else worked, so let's go that way.
Yeah, let's do that. Why not? And I'm sure some of the roadies might have been up in the stands, wearing their Rock jerseys, would have said, "Hey, give me a stick."
Now, if you ask anybody, the highlight of the night actually was the kiss cam.
Okay, what happened?
Well, there was a gentleman there who took it a little bit far.
Uh-oh.
It was me. It's the first time in 20 years they actually put me on a damn camera.
and they didn't see this. What happened?
Well, people still congratulated me on the kiss all the way to the parking lot.
You and the wife got a little deep into the kiss, huh?
Well, we decided it wasn't going to be a peck, so we decided we were going to be the full in the arm kind of idea. So all you see is the back of my jersey, which was hilarious. But I just love listening to the crescendo of the crowd.
And as the crowd got louder, you just kept on going.
Yeah, man. Once an actor, always an actor, right?
Oh man, that's why I wish they would show this on there. I
wish somebody would have snapped a picture. I asked all over the place, and if you're listening and you happen to have one, put it on our site, would you, please?
Oh man, that'd be. But yeah, so now, I mean, you look at it, like you said, Gary, Colorado just took control of it in the fourth. It was 9-7 up until, 8-7, I should say, up until the last five and a half minutes. And then
We
Colorado's
also look at urgency, right? You know, you're tied 6-6. You played miserable, and you can still win this game, and you come out and lose 5-1 in the fourth.
fourth, yeah.
Hi. How you doing? And then you're going to come across and say, well, I've never quite seen an offense that kind of did. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for that wonderful weather report. You know, tonight's forecast will be dark.
Yeah.
Considered mostly dark, followed by widely scattered light in the morning. That's about what you gave me in your coach's comments.
Yeah.
So maybe it's time to start looking at this monster from the top down. I do believe I've said this before. Now I'll probably have nobody in there talking to me again. Oh well.
Right.
Oh well.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, if they can't take, criticism, I mean, what, we're looking at it from our standpoint. We, like you said, you talked to Matt, you said this, and he gives you, when it's 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., it's going to be dark out, and when it's 10 o'clock a.m., it's going to be light out. Okay, we know that. Tell us why this isn't working. What are you seeing that we don't see? Explain that to us, and then we can, do something. But if if you're telling him one thing, and he's not coming out saying, well, when you saw this happening, this is what we saw on the bench. If you don't come out and say that, then hey, it's telling me that what you said was correct.
Well, just you look at the numbers and you just shake your head. Now, here's the quote. I'm not sure if I've been part of a game like that when you go as dry as we did offensively. Credit to our goaltending and defense to giving us an opportunity. There are times when you're going to face difficulties like that, and you just have to hope that your teammates pick you up. They tried their best, but we need to be better on offense. You need to look at what we did there and try to make improvements as a coaching staff and as a team and also as individuals and as players. We need to get to a point where we're consistent here. We're two Jekyll and Hyde up front. 1 game on, 2 games on, 1 game off. Having said all that, we're facing 3 Eastern opponents here, and it's all in our hands. It's just a matter of what we want to do with it. Well, that's, you can be political with that. But credit to our goaltending and defense for giving us an opportunity. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, they were.
When you're going to face difficulties like that. Like that? I don't remember ever a team having that kind of... and there's been games where, I remember Toronto beating Rochester 17-3 and the offense had more points.
Yeah.
There's been a number of games where the Toronto offense have gone to sleep for 15 to 30 minutes. This year, last year, we can go back. So, this is just the culmination of a lot of things, and this just was glaring. Being that Hellier's 0 points, Jones 0 points, Hickey 0 points, Caputo 0 points, McArdle 1 point, Reinhold 1 point. It goes on and on and on.
Yeah, so something has to come up this weekend. Penalties, there were very, very few. Toronto
that worked in Colorado's favor.
Yeah, Toronto had 3.
Not that the Toronto juggernaut was able to do anything anyways, but...
Right. Yeah, Colorado was 1 for 3. Toronto 0 for 1. 51-42 shots on goal in favor of Colorado. Loose balls were 72-69. A good crowd. Just, 10,288.
Yeah, surprised for Good Friday. It was a good crowd.
Yeah. Shame it wasn't a good game.
Yeah. Good point.
Good Friday, good game, good crowd, not a good game, good points. So that dropped Toronto to 7-7, and it moved Colorado for the time being to 10-4, and it put them right on the brink of moving very, very close to Saskatchewan for first place as they decide to cross the border and they go to Rochester for Saturday night. Now, this game was Hall of Fame night, alumni night. The Nighthawks put Mike Kersey into their Hall of Fame, into the Rochester Hall of Fame. They had some alumni present, obviously from Paul Gate to Chris Schiller to Casey Zath. Teddy Jenner was there, who now does who he has his show Off the Crossbar, and also he is the play-by-play man for the Colorado Mammoth. And the jerseys that Rochester was wearing, they auctioned them off to benefit childhood cancer. A lot of bids were made. I believe it was just over $11,000 was raised. And I could actually say I'm the proud owner of a Teddy Jenner Rochester Nighthawk jersey. So I did my part. It was a jersey I wanted. It's a nice jersey too. I mean, Gary, you saw it. I posted it up there.
Yep.
And thanks to Teddy for signing it before they mailed it out. So this way I didn't have to wait till September of next year for that to happen. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice jersey, and people get on me, say, because I'm a Wings fan. What am I doing getting a Rochester jersey? The money went for childhood cancer. That's what the goal was, and that's it went. I had a limit that I was going to spend on the jersey, and I liked it, and I went for it. The wife gave approval. We'll say.
You never have to apologize when you put the money towards things like that.
Yes. But the game itself,
interesting game.
very, very interesting. Colorado opens up 3-0, and you're thinking, uh-oh, here we go.
At 5-1, I was thinking, uh-oh.
Yeah. And then Rochester scores the last two in the first quarter with Withers and Vitarelli. And then the second quarter, almost half the goals in the game were scored in that quarter. Both teams combined for a total of 13 goals. It just seemed like after every face-off, goal. It wasn't even any, like a minute or two in between the goals.
Yeah.
You look, Colorado started at 45 seconds, Rochester a minute 29. Then I think one of the longest spans we had was from 129 to 334. Then 430, 454, 524. I mean, it just...
Do you think Stephen Keel was pumped to be back in Rochester?
Just a little bit.
Wow, what a game.
Just a little bit. 7 goals, 2 assists. He had half of the goals. He had
the best game I've ever seen him play.
Yeah. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, he had 5, and then his last 2 came when he put the team ahead 14-13. And then Rochester scored the final 3, but...
I'll give him the credit down a little bit to playing the night before, too.
Yeah. I mean, he had one hell of a weekend. 9 goals in 2 games, 7 against his old team. No doubt there were people in Rochester going, why?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
But a couple of bright spots for Rochester is Austin Shanks is for real.
Very for real.
That wasn't just a fluke.
No.
2 goals, 4 assists. He only had 6 shots on net. And Jake Withers, where we all kind of scratched our heads when they took him number 2 overall in the draft. Well, how about freaking 25 for 32 in numbers for faceoffs?
Yeah, that's... What was the record? Was it 20? They said it was 26, the record?
Yeah.
Yeah, he missed it by 1. But he's a rookie.
And think about this, is that they chased Matt Vince out 4.5 minutes into the second quarter. And Angus Goodley came in and stood on his head.
Yep. And
I've seen him do it a number of times. He's done it a couple of times in Toronto when you thought you had him on the ropes because Vince was out.
Yeah, and then just under 9 minutes later, Dylan Ward got chased from the game.
Yep.
So now you got the battle of the backups.
And what a battle it was.
Yeah, it was a big time battle. I mean, Steve Fryer is starting to show what he's capable of doing. Okay? He's showing that he is very, very capable because he came in the game when the score was actually tied. It was tied 10-10. That's when he came in the game. And, only allowing, he allowed 6 goals and a half. But still, that's a very good game, for him. And, when Agnes Goodleaf came in, you're looking at, Vince was taking out the 4:30 mark after Keogh scored to make it 8-4.
Yeah, and he righted the ship.
Yeah. So, Keogh was just on a tear every time he touched the ball, it just went in.
But 31 out of 37 saves, that's obscene numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, he was 31 for 30. Well, they both let up 6 goals.
Yeah.
Goodleaf was 31 out of 37, and Steve Fryer was 32 out of 38. So Fryer faced one more shot than Goodleaf did.
Mm-hmm.
So, kudos to both of them, playing. And one quick thing on Goodleaf, his jersey went for over $600.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing that, which was a shock.
Well, damn near Nick Rose numbers. His jersey last year went for $2,300.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a bidding war going on. This year it only went for $1,200.
Oh, okay. Somebody didn't get that much back in taxes.
I guess.
But yeah, this game was just classic. No other word for it. Both teams were putting the ball in the net. Both, the starters were chasing, and then the backups basically stole the show. They really did. You only had 9 goals total scored in the whole second half.
Yeah.
That's all we had after the teams put up an 21 goals in the first half. But just like you said, Stephen Keogh, 7 goals, 2 assists. Noble, a goal and 3 assists. Eli McLaughlin, another 2-goal game. Zach Greer, 1-1. He had that one good game against New England at one time.
Yep.
And then ever since then, it seems like he's just coming back, getting the goal, and just shaking off the rust as he runs around the floor.
Well, he had 7 shots on net, so
Yes, I don't know what's. I think something is still bothering him with an injury or something. It has to be. Because I've never seen him this quiet for so long.
Yeah.
I never have. Then you go over to Rochester side, and Cody Jameson, typical game, 2 goals, 4 assists.
Joe Rezateras played a solid game at 3-3.
Eric Fennell, 2-3. Another big bright spot there for a rookie in Fennell.
We about Austin Shanks at 2 goals and 4 assists. Corey Vitarelli,
2 and 4, 2 and 3. The sheet's saying 2 and 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, on point streak.
Point
Yeah.
streak here, and 3 and 2 here.
Yeah, Austin Shanks 2 and 3.
Yeah, Austin Shanks, yes.
Yeah, 2 and 3. Yusef stars with 3s. Graham Hossack had a goal out there on the transition. Ian Lord even put one in the net. And Kyle Jackson had a quiet night with 1 goal, 2 assists.
Everybody else is putting the ball in.
Right, and you wonder,
Lord.
yeah, he's not injured or nothing, so, maybe he's playing a little bit of a different role in this game, where maybe they're, double teaming
him. He got 7 shots on net.
Yeah.
3 loose balls, so he's still out there. He's still doing things.
Yeah, he's out there. He's doing it. I think maybe they're sliding over, double teaming him, and what's happening is you're getting Fennell, Shanks, all putting the ball in. Those 2 alone combined for 4 goals, 6 assists on the night. Then Stars comes out 3 and 3, and I hate to say this, but ever since the trade of Dan Dawson, this team has been on fire.
Yeah.
They've literally won 5 or 6 out of their last 7. The team won 2, lost 6. Now they're sitting at 8 and 7. They won 6 out of the last 7 when many of us, including me, started talking about, they might as well start looking at the offseason. Because they were flatter than a pancake when they lost those 6 games. Even though they're only by a handful of goals, like 4 or 5 of them, but they just weren't really showing a lot. Now all of a sudden they're sitting at 8 and 7.
And these teams both took advantage of being on the power play.
Yeah.
Colorado went 5 for 6. Rochester went 4 for 5. It was a special teams extravaganza.
Yeah. And, yeah, for Mark Ardonio doing the game, not too many goals.
Par for the course.
Yeah. I mean, you had, 10 offenses, 23 minutes, 1 bench minor, and 1 slashing major. Everything.
Typical Gardonio game.
Yeah, everything else was, called the right way. Have to say that. Rochester, 96 to 75 on the loose balls. That's just 21 more loose balls than Colorado. 65 to 55 were the shots. We mentioned the face-offs. Withers, 25 of 32. That is just unbelievable. I would say record-breaking. He was a one-off. And then you had, Edwards went 9 for 31. I mean, Jake Withers is starting to remind me of another version of Jeff Snyder. Just being that dominating on the faceoffs right now. And like I said, he's only a rookie. I mean, so this kid can do nothing but get better. No, what was that, Gary?
Plus, he has more composure.
Yeah.
Snyder would be great, and then he would lose his mind and really cost his team.
Yeah.
Whereas Withers is always composed. He wins his faceoffs, he gets the ball out, or he runs down and scores transitionally. So he's dangerous both ways.
Yeah, very dangerous. And then probably the people that were shaking their heads when Rochester took him.
Me being one of them.
Yeah.
Sitting there in disbelief on the floor there with him.
People were going, how you like me now?
Well, yeah, they look like geniuses, don't they?
Yeah, they do. That's why I learned never to question certain things. They know what they know, and that's it.
Yep.
They wanted a face-off man. They needed that type of player because obviously Dylan Evans wasn't going to be their answer. So, like we said, Rochester wins that game. It moves them to 8-7, and then unfortunately, it dropped Colorado to 10-5. If Colorado would have won that game, they would have been a half a game out of first place. They would have been sitting at 11-4. That's how close they would have been. Now, being 10-5, they're a game and a half out. They play Saskatchewan this week. And like I said, Gary, if they lose this week, it'll put them at 10-6. It'll put Saskatchewan at 12-3. It'll clinch the division for Saskatchewan because the best Colorado could do is 12 wins as well, and Saskatchewan already has the tiebreaker. So, Colorado's got a lot of work to do if they want to get first, but with the schedule the way what's left, it kind of favors Saskatchewan right now. Rochester, on the other hand, wins the game, goes 8-7, and by virtue of the tiebreaker right now, is leading the East. Yes, that's what I said. Rochester Nighthawks are leading the Eastern Division in the National Lacrosse League right now. And they are tied with the Buffalo Bandits, who are also sitting at 8-7, thanks to their victory over the New England Black Wolves last weekend. I think New England is tired of seeing Buffalo.
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, 20-7 in one game, and then this one was a little bit closer. I mean, again, I'll say this, and I know people are going to get tired of me saying it, but you cannot win a game if your centerpiece of your scoring is getting 5 goals. You can't win.
Well, you can't win when they only get 3 goals, too, and they don't happen until the end of the game.
Right. But, I mean, Crowley gets 5 goals.
Everybody else
gets 1. Kyle Buchanan gets 2. There was no Kevin Buchanan. They sat him the game for David Brock, who got 0 goals, 0 assists, 4 penalty minutes.
Well, he fit in nicely in his place.
Yeah, and 1 shot on goal. Meanwhile, Callum Crawford gets a goal and 2 assists, while the person he was traded for, Sean Evans, also gets 1 goal, but he picked up 6 assists. So, I think Buffalo is winning this trade.
Well, yeah, then you look at the LeBlanc thing, and no goals, 4 assists for LeBlanc. Well, that's the reason why Toronto traded him.
Right. He's not putting the ball in the net on a consistent basis.
And scoring.
Right.
And he wasn't doing it here. They traded him, and now he's not doing it there.
No. He's got the size. He's got to use it.
On net.
He's got to use his size to his advantage, and he's not doing it.
Right, 12 shots on net, and I'll bet you 11 of them were from, probably the casino floor.
Yeah.
In New England. It's a game that's in Buffalo.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just don't get it. Josh Byrne is now reinstating himself as the, rookie, hopefully.
He was the number 1 pick overall.
Right. I mean, 4 goals, 2 assists on the night. Another big solid night there for him. Durston with 2 goals. Dane Smith with a goal and 5 assists. Frazier.
He's had a big night.
Yeah, Frazier with a hat trick. I mean,
so we're looking at Buffalo having just like the ultimate of drafts. If you have Frazier and Byrne, and both of them are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
You can't ask for more than that. The last time I seen numbers like that, it was LeBlanc and Billings in Toronto in 2010.
Then we know what happened then.
Yeah, it was 2 finals appearances and 1 championship.
Yep. And, if this is happening with Buffalo right now, and there's only 3 games to go before the playoffs, and these 2 start clicking, it could be trouble. Especially now with them having Sean Evans.
Definitely a good time to get hot.
Yeah. Perfect time to get hot. And I think people in New England and the Black Wolves themselves would just be happy for lukewarm right now.
Now, for all the abuse Alex Bouquet has taken from us this year, he had 65 shots on net and only gave up 11 goals.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Now, I know a lot of those shots were from downtown Buffalo, but needless to say, they were still shots on net. And on the other way, Eric Bohl faced 68 shots.
Yeah,
now, we're talking about New England with no defense. Need I say any more?
No. And did you see him blast his team on the bench?
I saw him blast his team, the week earlier, too.
Yeah. I mean...
There's only so much he can take,
No. I mean...
you don't take that many shots.
No. No, it's just like, defense is leaving him out to dry half the time. And if the defense isn't leaving him out to dry, then what's the problem? How are they getting so inside? How are they getting this many shots on goal? How are they doing it and you can't do it?
Now, New England has the face-off specialist, right?
Supposedly.
And Dylan Evans. But yet they basically did 500.
Yeah.
So, if you can't get the possessions, you're in trouble.
Yeah, Thornberry was 10 for 19, and Dylan Evans, who they picked up from Rochester when he was let go, was 5 for 10. So I mean, you have two face-off guys
against a rookie in Vaughn Harris. He went 500.
Yeah, I don't know, just.
But yeah, there's all kinds of problems around there.
Yeah, power plays. They both went 3 for 4. Buffalo picked up 13 more loose balls, 74 to 61. But where it counted was on the scoreboard. I mean, it seems like that 3-goal lead in the first quarter is what ended up holding up, because you had 8-7 Buffalo at the half, then 9-7, and then only 1 goal scored in the third quarter.
Which is interesting because you had many goals in every other quarter.
Yeah, but it's just 1 goal by both teams combined, and then in the fourth quarter they decided to score 9 of them. And two of them at the very end. New England was down 12-11, and then Buffalo just put everything away. I mean, when they started, New England tried to get a run going at the 8-minute mark. 33 seconds later, they give a goal up to Mitch Jones.
Good crowd.
Yeah.
Almost 14,000.
Yeah, 13,709 was there at the KeyBank Center there in Buffalo. But yeah, so now Buffalo is now sitting tied with Rochester, both at 8-7. But Buffalo will be in the 2 spot right now as they break it down because of the tiebreaker. Buffalo has 2 more games at home, 1 more on the road. Rochester has 1 more game at home and 2 on the road. As that goes in the standings. Now, the last game we had of the weekend was Calgary at Vancouver. Now, this was a game that Vancouver had to win. Otherwise, they would be eliminated from the playoffs this year. Or should we say, they would finally be laid to rest on this for this season. They would be put out of their misery, so to speak. And
it took them a while before they actually gave us a result.
Yeah.
They put up a half a game, which is standard for Vancouver. 7-6 at the half. They started out good.
Yeah, they were actually winning at the half.
Yeah. Going in runs as they do, right?
Yeah. And then you're looking at 11-9 at the end of 3 in favor of Calgary. Still only down by 2.
And then, of course, again, we talk about the sense of urgency. And then you come out in the fourth quarter, and you give up a shorthanded goal, and then you have an empty net goal.
Right.
So you did nothing in the fourth. When your season's relying on you having 1 good quarter.
Yeah, well,
and you came up and laid an egg.
Well, the whole...
So that's an exclamation point for the Vancouver Stealth. That basically says their season to a nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, the whole season for them has been that way. I mean, they put out no production in the fourth, and you look at their lineup. Okay, you start at the very top of the lineup. Reese Dutch, 1 goal. 1 goal, 1 assist by Reese Dutch. The leader of this team should be putting this ball in the net a whole lot more than what he has this year. Corey Small, 2 goals. Logan Shush with 2. Pat Saunders with 2 goals. And Brendan Cleveland with a goal. That was it for Vancouver. I mean, McCready without a goal. But the big thing here is, Reese Dutch, just 1 goal. I don't know if he's hurt somewhat or, what's going on, but there's got to be an answer as to why his production is this low this year. And, for Calgary, Dixon with 3 and 5. Dane Dobby 3 and 2. Then you got single markers. You're looking at Riley Lowen, Zach Currier, Mitch Wild, Digby, Catoni.
Westberg.
Yeah. Westberg with through and 2. And Christian Del Bianco with a great game.
Yep.
Another...
Back from a not-so-hot one the last time around.
Right. And he stops 43 of 52. Eric Penny on the other end stops 56 of 68. Don't know whether or not he'll be there next year or, what's going to go on there. But something
big is going to happen there.
Yeah, something needs to be done there. I mean, they had 3,300 people there. The arena sits 5,500. So 3,363 they had at the Langley Event Center. And
curious what it's going to be like the next time around when there's nothing to play for.
Yeah, I mean, Gary, like you said, something has to be done. I think something is going to be done. The question is, to who and to what extent? That's what we have to look at. Who's going to be there, who's going to be, not there anymore, what trades may be made, who are they going to protect, who are they not going to protect. I think right now what they're going to do is they're just going to reach into a hat and say, protect, not protect, protect, not protect.
It really doesn't matter, does it?
No. I mean, with the way some of these players have played this year, you got to sit there and, as an owner, the GM, and say, nobody's safe. Nobody is safe right now. I mean, this thing needs to be, I think, torn apart from top to bottom. I mean, because they just, it's not there. It really isn't. And with that happening, as we said, Calgary clinches a playoff spot. They're now at 6-8. So even if they win the rest of their games, they'll be 10-8. But I do believe Colorado has the tiebreaker. But I think they play each other again this year, so that could flip-flop. But that just gives you an idea of what Calgary has to do in order to get second place. They have to win out. Colorado has to lose out, and I think Calgary would hold the tiebreaker at that point. So, it's going to be kind of iffy for that to happen. Now, for this week's games, we are looking at everything starting on Saturday night at 9:30. No games on Friday. Everything will start 9:30 on Saturday night, with the only game being played on Saturday. And that is the game you're going to be at, Gary. Colorado at Saskatchewan. And as we stated earlier, the Saskatchewan win clinches first place for the Saskatchewan Rush. And
it wasn't already difficult enough to play inside of that place.
Right.
Inside of the phone booth, if you will.
And most likely a win will clinch, should clinch the overall record altogether. Because
I don't see anybody in the East coming close.
Well, if Rochester and or Buffalo, either one of them win out, they'll have 11. If Rochester wins out and Saskatchewan loses the rest of their games, Rochester would be the number one overall.
Saskatchewan's got Vancouver next week.
Oh, okay, never mind. Saskatchewan. Like I said, I remember saying that the schedule.
Say about that.
Yeah, the schedule kind of favors Saskatchewan here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, a win here, a win by Saskatchewan, not only will clinch the number one seed in the West, but it will also clinch the number one seed overall. Meaning that as long as the Saskatchewan Rush are in the playoffs, they will have home floor. So in the championship, it will be games 1 and 3 would be played in Saskatchewan, should they get that far. But they will have home floor as long as they're in the playoffs. So that's where that's going to stand. But Gary,
before we go any further, I just want to wish a happy birthday to one of our favorites.
Go ahead. I was going to do this, but go ahead.
Yeah, Thriller.
Yep.
Old Thriller 96. Bill O'Brien today is 30.
The big 3-0 for the big Thriller.
Yeah.
And Gary, I've said this before.
A Thriller Thursday and tomorrow on Flex Friday. Back to the work, buddy.
Yeah, I put up there for him to crunch out the candles today. But people that see him, when they see him play, and you see him off the floor, some people may be intimidated by him. Okay, he is one of the nicest people to ever talk to.
Oh yeah, and if you want somebody for motivation,
oh my God,
he's the guy you want to bring into your school. He's the guy you want to bring into just to talk.
Yeah, the videos that he posts when he did the talk at the school and how all the kids were coming up to him and everything. I mean, it was just really, you could really see what he's about.
Oh yeah,
you really can.
I'm back and forth with him on Twitter all the time.
Yeah,
just between gym workouts, and it's a scream.
Yeah, and he's trying out for Team USA for World Indoors. So I'm kind of hoping he makes it, because I think it'll be a fun time when I get out there on that Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm there from Tuesday to Saturday, and he's there. It'll make for some interesting podcasts, that's for sure.
Definitely.
I can guarantee you that, or some interesting live feeds on Facebook.
Well, just to get sound bites, so it'd be huge.
Oh God, yes. Oh yeah, I already told him at the lacrosse convention, you make the team, I'll be up there, in Vancouver, so be ready for Facebook Live, and he's all for it.
Oh yeah, well, there's him and his brother and the other one, the Wednesday night podcast is great.
Yeah. So if people listening to ours, if you follow him, on Facebook, it's Brian O'Thrill, Brien. He has on there. So follow him on Facebook. And on Twitter, just type in Bill O'Brien. You'll see. I think it's at Thriller96.
Bill O'Brien at Bill_O'Brien 96.
Just follow him on Twitter. Follow his Facebook page. His videos are classic.
You can get him at Thriller 96.
Yeah, it's just the watch him and watch what he does and things like that. He's not only are they informative, but they're also comical. They really are. But yeah, a big 3-0. He's now over that 30-year-old hill to Bill O'Brien, who I hope maybe get to try out with the Wings next year and makes that team.
Always a thought.
Yes, and it'd be very interesting having him here in Philly. Have him pose next to the Rocky statue. see if the statue is pumped up more than he is. Which ought to be interesting. But yeah, happy birthday to Bill. Hopefully he's celebrating it the way he wants to celebrate it, and many, many more. Now, as we were saying, the first game on the schedule, Colorado, Saskatchewan. Up until last week, I thought maybe Colorado would have a chance at this game. But seeing that Saskatchewan's coming off that loss to Rochester 2 weeks ago, and they had off this week, and Colorado has been battling in their games, I think Saskatchewan just wins this game. They're going to make a statement. They know that they're going to win the division regardless. But I'm pretty sure they also know that they cannot allow Colorado to win this game to get any type of mental edge on them.
Also, Grandma Rush will be in the crowd.
As usual.
Yeah, well, she's coming in from Edmonton, so it's not quite usual.
Yeah.
But she'll be in there, but I know I'm going to have lunch with her on Saturday, so forward to that. But, I think Saskatchewan wins this outright. I really think that they have a message to send. You're going to have 15,000 screaming people in there going crazy.
Yep.
It's going to be a difficult place for Colorado to play. Now, they're used to the noise, but not usually
not
the
like
way
this.
around.
No. Especially with the fans knowing of what's on the line.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to what I saw in Toronto. When they should be scoring, they're not. And if they can't put a lot past Evan Kirk, their defense is going to be strong, but there's so many different weapons that Saskatchewan can use. They're not going to hold them to no points.
No.
So, look out.
Yeah, and I mean, Saskatchewan's got to look out for Keogh. Stephen Keogh's been on a tear lately. So they gotta find a way to shut him down.
Yeah.
But they can't go forgetting about the others that are out there, because I got a funny feeling that Zach Greer is going to kind of turn it up a little bit, playing his old mates.
Yeah, well, you got the evil genius there as coach for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, he's the genius behind it all.
Keenan, I'm sure, has a plan.
Oh yeah, definitely has a plan for that for him, McLaughlin, Joey Caputo. You got to watch out for him. But the big thing here is solving Dylan Ward. That's what you got to look at.
Dylan Ward, though.
Yeah.
Was it the one from Friday or Saturday?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one from Saturday, 16-14, it was offensive explosion going up and back. It's not like he got rocked 16-7.
No.
Yeah.
But
I expected that offense on both sides to come out that way.
well, if it's going to be a shootout, this is a team that's going to be able to shoot out with you too. So
Yeah.
Their offense better be in gear.
Yeah, big time. And same thing for the defense. But I see Saskatchewan winning this game, putting everything to rest to where they'll have first place clinched altogether. They'll be sitting at 12-3 with 3 games to go, where maybe if they want to put a backup in for a game, they can go ahead and do that. Maybe when they go to play Vancouver, they give Evan Kirk the night off and throw in the backup. Like,
Who's that again?
Isn't that Mr. Door Opener?
Yeah, that's the guy. The guy counts to 5.
5, right. But yet when he came in the game this year, he played great. So it kind of shut us up for a bit. But yeah, I mean, watched him most of the summer. He never put a game like that together. No. But if they win this week, they beat Colorado, they lock up everything. First overall. So why not? Why not give Evan Kirk some time off, Maybe have him play, the first quarter and then, sit him the rest of the game just to keep him moving. Don't let, the rust build up. But yeah, so that's what's on the line there, and it's obvious we both think Saskatchewan's going to win this game. Now, the next game after that, there's 2 on Sunday. So what I got to say is this. For those of us who are going to be watching WrestleMania, you got 2 great lead-ups to it. You really do. First game is Calgary at New England. Gary, like I said, Calgary's got to win out. Colorado's got to lose out for them to even get a chance at second place. I don't see that happening. But in New England, they're having a throwback night or a throwback afternoon. The first 1,000 fans are getting the slap bracelets. You remember those, don't you?
Uh-huh. Awesome.
Yeah, only 1,000? Really? I'm sorry. I like some of the guys on the Black Wolves and everything. I like what they're doing. But I'm going to call it as I say it, okay? That's just lame. A slap bracelet as a throwback giveaway and only 1,000. If you sell the place out, you get 7,700 people. You're averaging around 5,000 people. So you're telling me you couldn't get 5,000 slap bracelets?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But a slap bracelet of all things.
Yeah, I know. Of all the ideas, that's not one of them.
No. I mean, you could have done anything else. You could have got, I remember what the Wings did years ago. They gave out painter hats. That's the Philadelphia Wings that was sponsored by, I think, MAB at the time. You do something like that. You don't go giving a slap bracelet? Really? I don't know. I saw that a couple of weeks ago, and they're advertising it like crazy on Facebook and everything, and I just got to shake my head.
That being said, I'm doing the unpopular thing, and I'm actually taking New England to win this game.
You think they're going to come back to life in this one?
Well, my reasoning is this. Is Calgary really, for all intents and purposes, playing from not much? I don't see them coming in and taking second. True. New England, on the other hand, if they lose this, more or less, it's bye-bye down off to the sunset you go. The season's over. You're not coming back to get a playoff spot. You're already well on your way to the other direction, off to the dark side. You need to win, and you need to win now. So if there's anything left in this team with any pride, this is the game they pull it all together. And against Calgary, I think they're able to. If they can keep Doby, if they can keep Dixon in check, the rest of the team, they don't have to worry about, really.
Right.
And With the size and with the players that they have, I think they can get to Del Bianco because I think he's susceptible to the outside shot. Not so much the inside. His reflexes work great inside. Outside, he's still a bit susceptible, especially things off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it plays into the way New England can play. Now, that being said, New England has to actually come and have the game of their year. And can they do it?
Yeah.
I watched them put one together against Toronto and win in overtime. So I know they're capable of it.
They're very capable of doing it, but it's...
But let's say, it's pride, intestinal fortitude, urgency. All of those have to be on the forefront here, and they have to play the game of the year to save their year and keep this East as tight as it's going to be. They lose, and we only have to worry about 4 teams.
Yeah, and their next 2 games are really against teams that they really don't have really anything to play for. You mentioned Calgary, that it basically needs, the world to come to an end for them to get second place. But next week, they go to Colorado.
Right, and that basically be settled if Colorado loses on Saturday night.
Right.
So next week, are they going to play a Colorado team that's going to be resting their players too?
Exactly. So these are 2 games that they can very well win coming up that will put them back at 500, playing their last 2 games against Rochester, in Rochester, and then the Georgia Swarm on the 29th, which that's the last game of the year, and that'll be at home.
So it's a daunting schedule, but...
So they go home, road, home, road. I mean, home, road, home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting schedule. They could pull themselves back to 500 in the next 2 weeks and then have to play the team that right now is in first place and the team that is currently in third place.
Well, if they could do it and put them to 500, then they have it in their own hands.
Right.
Right, as opposed to just losing this one and being off you go.
Yeah. But
I think that they come out with a bit of jump in this game.
Yeah, and there's so much going on now in the East when you look at the schedule. I mean, you got Rochester playing Buffalo coming up, Toronto playing Buffalo, New England and Rochester. I mean, you got a lot of, games going on. Rochester at Toronto in another week. Yeah, it's, really going to be something. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning your way as well, Gary, with that, with New England, with that game being at home, Calgary not really having anything to play for, because like we said, they have to win the rest, and Colorado has to lose the rest. Neither one of us sees that happening, and this is a game that New England knows that their season is basically on the line right now. It really is. They cannot afford to drop another game and go 6-9, and should Toronto win next week, it'll put them 2.5 behind Toronto, or 2.5 behind Georgia, because that's the next game on the schedule, and that's the Twitter game of the week, and that game is at 4:05 on Sunday. So you have a 2:00 game, then a 4:05 game. So just as Calgary, New England is ending, you jump right over to Toronto and Georgia. Toronto will be in Georgia. We haven't heard anything definite yet about Tom Schreiber coming back. Everything was saying that, yes, he's coming back. He's coming back at the end of the month. But, Gary, like you said, is there going to be rust there? Is he going to be truly 100%?
Yeah, that's for anybody to be seen. But now, again, we're talking about pride, right? We're talking about an offense that was thoroughly embarrassed. We're talking about, obviously, the schemes aren't working, and that's the biggest chat going on in this city. So, are they going to go and actually try something different, like going inside?
And they're going to get...
The defense, are they going to be able to hold the Thompsons in check? Are they going to be able to hold Jordan Hall in check? Because the last time out, they all went to town. with the last two games, the one was overtime, which the Rock should have won, and the next one was in Toronto, in which Georgia just, outplayed Toronto.
Right.
And continually, if I can notice this in the stands, can't somebody on the bench notice this? Continually, they get beaten with that long transitional pass from Poulin to whomever is going up the floor, past the center line, continually. So, if that doesn't put everything upside down, can we have a little bit of defense to this, please? Now, if I'm putting it out here today, and the game isn't until Sunday, can somebody do something about it, please? Because it drives me insane, because how many opportunities happen, whether they take transition shots or they pull up, it sets everything haywire on the bench of guys scrambling to get out. Half the time it causes penalties for illegal substitutions or too many men. So, one thing or another, plan for it. It's going to happen. Plan for it.
Yeah.
Now let's see if we have a little bit more, from the offense.
Yeah, and this is a big game for them because it leads up to them playing.
In realm is New England, really.
Yeah.
You lose this one, and all of a sudden you're outside looking in. You're already sitting at fourth with tie breaks. And if you're going to head in the wrong direction, there's not a whole lot of help coming. Because you got Rochester coming up.
And you got Buffalo.
That's not going to help you much.
Then you got Buffalo.
And they seem to have found it too. So
yeah. And
that's in Buffalo, and I'll be at that one as well.
Yeah, you'll be in Buffalo for that game, and I'll be in Rochester for the Rochester-New England game. And that's, when you look at the Swarm, after they face the Rock at home, they got to go to Saskatchewan next week. Then they're home against Vancouver, and then they're on the road against New England. So they got an easy one in Vancouver coming up. But they have been playing basically lights out here. 17-12 against New England last week, 14-10. They lose a heartbreaker, 11-10 to Rochester. I believe that was the overtime game. 12-7 over the Rock. A close one to Colorado. A close one. They win one against Toronto. So they're kind of up and down. It's hard to get a read on them. But the last two games, 14-10 and 17-12 against division rivals. They're starting to put it together. And it's a Twitter game of the week. They know it's at stake. I don't know if Schreiber's going to be in the lineup or not, and even if he is, how much is he going to help them? I know you're going Toronto. I have yet to see you this year go against them. I'm going Georgia on this one. I just think with them playing at home in front of 150 fans, including the players on the bench.
That's oil and parking stuff.
Yeah, that I just think that Georgia is going to pull this one out. I mean, they beat Buffalo by 4, New England by 5. They're putting it all together right now. The Thompsons are starting to play like they should, and not seeing anything from Toronto's offense last week. I don't know. I think they're going to be out there trying to force things. Even if Schreiber is back, like you said earlier, how good of 100% is he going to be? Because he's been out 6-7 weeks right now.
Yeah.
So, granted, being out there on the practice floor or shooting on the net with nobody defending you is one thing. Getting into game action and being hit from side to side and trying to get the shot off, as we know, is something totally different. So we have to see whether or not he's going to be in the lineup. And I haven't heard anything, and I think if you would have heard something, you would have said it by now.
Yes, I would.
Everybody's been saying, Schreiber's going to return at the end of March. Well, Okay, he may be saying he's 100%, but do the coaches see him at 100%? The trainers see him at 100% and game ready? What's going on now with the game being on Sunday afternoon? That may help, as opposed to if they were playing Friday or Saturday night. Where they say, well, if we were playing Friday night, you wouldn't be ready, which is one thing I never understand. If you're not ready on Friday night, what makes you think they're going to be ready on Sunday? Is there another miracle cure that's going to put you over the hump in 2 days? That's what I never understand with the sports when they say that. But I'm going Georgia on this game. Gary, you're going Toronto, I believe.
I am.
Yeah, of course.
Hard to believe, yeah?
Yeah, hard to believe on that one. So you're going Saskatchewan, New England, Toronto. I'm going Saskatchewan, New England, and Georgia. So that's the only game that we differ. And then, like we said, when that's over, for those of you that are into the WWE, you have WrestleMania right after that. That starts at 6 or 6:30, I believe. So if you have that subscription on the WWE Network, you go right over to that after. So it's a little, 2 o'clock, you got Calgary, New England. 4:05, you got Toronto, Georgia, which is the Twitter game of the week. And then, Gary, you got WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I'll be back in the city by then.
So hopefully you'll be able to see some of that or try to recover. I expect to see you at Grandma Rush at the game.
Oh, yeah.
I expect to see you there with Grandma Rush, that's for sure. And let Evan know that I have a hat for him. I'm going to save a Wings hat for him.
Okay.
It's just a matter of trying to get it to him, because when I send anything else over the border, it's like $25-something. So I'm going to see what UPS charges or FedEx, see what their costs are. Maybe we could exchange a Wings hat for a Rush hat. Do something like that, But there you have it. Okay, the standings, as we said, Rochester and Buffalo both tied at 8 and 7. Rochester currently in first place via tiebreak. Georgia and Toronto both 7 and 7, third and fourth respectively. Tiebreaker, as I said, the first team. Then New England sitting at 6 and 8. So it's a very big game for New England this weekend. In the West, all three playoff positions have been clinched. Saskatchewan's at 11 and 3. Colorado 10 and 5. Calgary 6 and 8. Two things can be clinched this weekend. A Saskatchewan win clinches not only first in the West, but first overall. And it'll give them home field throughout. Calgary, like we said, they really need a whole lot of help to get second, but they've clinched the third. Colorado looks like they're going to be in second. So your first round playoff match looks like it's going to be Calgary at Colorado, and then the winner of that will face the Rush. In the East, it's anybody's guess right now who's going to win it. All these teams control their own destiny right now. With New England down in the basement, a game out of first, they need to win. And you got their next two games, Gary, like we just talked about. Calgary and Colorado basically don't have anything really to play for. They want to get guys healthy, so you might want to put some other guys in that haven't gotten a whole lot of playing time. Maybe throw a backup in for a game or two. Put Fryer in or whatever, get him some more time on the floor, because you're probably not going to get first place. You ain't dropping down to third, so why risk Dylan Ward getting injured? And you just play him for a little bit, keep the rust off, and this is games that New England can take advantage of and win those, and then go into the last two games of the season, seeing what happens. And Gary, like you said, Toronto's got Rochester coming into town, and then they go to Buffalo, so they got to face the first and second place team right now. Georgia's kind of in the same boat. They got Toronto this week. Then they got New England at the end of the year, and I think there was another game. No, they got Vancouver and Saskatchewan. So they got two more games in the division as well. So anything can happen here. You know, for all we know, New England can end up in first and Rochester in last. I mean, it's the East is total mayhem right now, and nothing is going to be cleared up this weekend. That's for sure, unless New England ends up going further down in the standings, which is something they cannot risk right now. So, with that being said, we're going to obviously end the show. Gary, you have an early flight tomorrow. You'll get to meet with Grandma Rush, Hulk Rush, and the whole entire Rush Nation.
Yeah, there are going to be a number of people that I'm going to be meeting with over the next few days. It's going to be a pleasure to see everybody again. I'm looking forward to it. Get the wheat beer ready, boys. Get the wheat beer ready.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the day that I can get over there. That'll be.
But I have to dig out my hat and scarf again, though. My God.
Yeah, for those that don't realize it, it's going to be, Gary, I believe you told me what, minus 22 degrees Celsius?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now it's a balmy minus 13 Celsius there. So let's hope it doesn't go too much crazier.
That's just.
Yeah. It'll be Friday minus 24 in the evening. It warms up Saturday to a minus 12 in the evening, minus 6 in the daytime. So positive numbers Fahrenheit. But yeah, it'll be an eye-opening experience again. But regardless, most of the things I do are inside, so they have heat.
Yeah, minus 13 Celsius. I don't even know what that would be.
Probably about 5 Fahrenheit.
I mean, that's just
cold. What it is.
Yeah, very, very cold. Not just cold. It's actually minus 13 Celsius is 8 degrees Fahrenheit. 8 above. For minus.
Now again, with anything, it's all about wind.
Yeah.
Not windy. I can take the cold. That's no big deal.
Yeah, it's
when it starts getting freaking
the wind chill.
windy.
Yeah. Yeah. So just when people hear minus 22 Celsius, don't want them to freak out too much because that's 7.5 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's the wind, like you said, Gary. When that kicks up, it's definitely going to be below zero.
Yeah.
So have a safe flight. Enjoy the time there. Let Evan, Hulk, Grandma Rush, I said hello. We love that they follow us on Behind the Bench. And, obviously we're going to keep our fingers crossed that they get, they win, they clinch first, they have home field, and who knows, maybe we'll see them again in the finals. Maybe against Toronto, maybe against Georgia, maybe against Rochester. Which I think will be quite interesting, seeing that Rochester has beaten them twice this year. So that's going to be really, really interesting. So, until next week, again, Bill O'Brien, happy 30th birthday. Enjoy it. People say now you're over the hill at 30. But I'm not going to say that to them. So for Gary Grube at BlacksPhilly.com, I'm Rocco Granado from InLacrosseWeTrust.com. We thank you for tuning in. Remember, follow us at Behind the Bench on our Facebook page and on Twitter at Behind the Bench. Comments, criticisms, anything at all are welcome. And we will see everybody again next week.